Hey, what's up, everybody? It is time once again for another OPTC treasure map coming up this Wednesday. So, I got another team breakdown video for you. Before we jump into the team breakdown video, I just want to say two quick clarifications. The first thing is if you guys saw my stream last week, the last stream I did last week, Thursday night, I did mention at the end of it, I started not feeling very good. I actually, the next day when I woke up, I've had the flu all weekend. That stream was Thursday night. I wasn't feeling good Thursday night. I went right to bed after the stream. All day Friday, all day Saturday, and all day today, I have been feeling like miserable. Y'all might hear it in my voice. My throat hurts really bad right now, and my nose is like trying to drain really bad right now. So that being said, and currently have like a massive headache right now. Um, we'll get through this team breakdown quickly, but we'll get through it clearly. I'm going to make sure y'all totally understand what all the gimmicks are and how the teams work. The second clarification I want to make is the teams that I put together for both fights don't require any of the new units, including as a friend captain. So these teams are designed for, I know there's tons and tons of players all the time that are all like, oh, all these teams that I'm seeing are for teams without the new characters, but then require them as a friend captain. It's hard for me to find them with my friends list because if obviously you have the character, it's easy to search for them, or you always have the Bandai captain. So I know in the past a lot of like people that's tuned into my OPTC streams and videos have commented how they always appreciate like I have like these accessible teams that don't require those friend captains. So that's the case with this one. Now these teams do require some units from the 12th anniversary, so just keep that in mind. But it's just one rare recruit and Emu and Buggy, and Emu and Buggy were two of the best legends released at the 12th Annie. So hopefully you have those characters. If not, I will just say this was a tricky treasure map to build for anyway. I have seen other players' accessible teams that require the new Hyruden as the friend captain. So if you don't have Emu, maybe you want to go that route instead. With Buggy, there is a little bit of leeway there, somewhat. It's kind of tough though. Like you could make it work without Buggy, but if you don't have Buggy, it's almost like you might want to run a different team. Just keeping a heads up there, and I'll explain the rare recruit that we're using and any options for like them. But that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it. So this is against Rodo. So we'll go ahead and like check out the teams now. We will start with the fight against Rodo. So both these teams are using the 12th anniversary ship. It is still boosted. As you can see here, it's going to be boosted until the 4th of July. Here's the noise in the background. I could see it in the corner of my cat. One of them, he just got the zoomies. So if you hear that in the background, it's him having the time of his life. So let's go ahead and like break down the team here. And the 12th anniversary ship is important because remember it does give 5 turns of cooldown, so that'll help with it. So recommend characters, obviously the new ones, preemptive cooldowns. So unlike the last treasure map where everyone got the cooldowns, this one's back to like normal. So this first fight's based off of 3 classes. So it's going to be powerhouse, striker, and fighter focused. So in battle 2, so those classes they'll get cooldown. So in battle 2, there's going to be 7 turns of special bind to all your crewmates. Dex, Psi, and Int are going to be treated as unfavorable. And then essentially all your slots are going to be changed to strength and quick, unless it's like Wano or Rainbow. So following that, and there's also going to be a 2-turn hit barrier for 25 hits. And if you inflict increased damage taken, he removes the barrier for 2 turns. Sorry, this is the first time like I'm seeing that aspect of it because I didn't see that interruption on the treasure map planner. I don't remember it, but I have it built. We're going to get that barrier removed anyway, so we don't have to worry about that. That part caught me off guard because that was new information to me. Going into battle 3, Rodo has immunity only to delay, so that's important to note from one of our supports we have set up. His weakness class is powerhouse type. There's going to be 7 turns of super burn. So that's the burn that you don't get hit with at the end. That's the burn you get hit with as you hit perfect. So just be aware of that. I know usually, like, if it's the regular burn, you can kind of tank it if you know you're going to KO the character because you won't get it reduced later. But super burn could kill you before you end it. So just keep that in mind. There's going to be 10 turns of despair to the top row. Your top right, middle left, and bottom right are going to be binded for 10 turns. All slots are going to be changed to block again, unless it's like Wano or Rainbow. And there's going to be a 2-turn slot barrier where you have to hit them with 1 Rainbow slot to bypass it. Or to break it, I mean. So, with that in mind, both of these teams I have set up are running double Emu captains. So we'll go ahead and break down this first team. The supports on here are key for additional damage overall, and 1 is needed for utility. So we'll keep that in mind. I actually might need to change Sakazuki's support. Let me check Sakazuki real quick, one thing, and then I'll go over everything. Yeah, okay. I need to change Sakazuki's support just real quick. So, and I'll explain why in a minute. So this support gives the same effect that Doflamingo one does, but we specifically need that type of support, and I'll break down like why. So starting with Battle 2, and focusing on it, the key things that you need to know is that you're going to get 7 turns of special bind to your crewmates. You're going to have that slot manipulation where Dex, Psi, and Int are going to be treated as badly matching, but all your slots are going to be changed to Strength and Quick. So, just to let y'all know, on this stage, the way I have this team set up, we're doing no slot manipulation. So, we'll just essentially have, like, neutral slots. They're not going to be counted. We're not going to have no mismatch slots or any matching slots. They're all going to be, like, neutral because none of these characters have, like, crewmate abilities that make Strength or Quick beneficial. So just keep that in mind. But we're going to have other buffs to like help us out. So that actually makes me wonder one thing real quick. Let me check like one thing. Bear with me like 1 second. Yeah, let me do this change real quick because it's going to be actually better for us. Okay, there we go. So I'll explain like that like change there. I just wanted to like once it hit me, I was like, wait, all these are gonna be like neutral. Let me go with this instead. So with that in mind, I'm actually wondering now. Let me see something real quick. Sorry, chat. Like I said, I'm battling like this like fever and shit. Makes quick and dex slots matching. Okay, I'm gonna like give y'all like 2 options here in like a minute. I'll break it down for y'all. But let's first like let me just first like break down like how we're gonna get through the stage, and then I'll give y'all like these options right here for damage that you can see which is best for y'all and like which ones you need. So first things first is worrying about the special bind. So with the special bind, you're going to go ahead and get that removed with Emu. So you're going to use your Emu's special. So by using his special, you're going to go ahead and you're going to get the territory crew for 3 turns. So that's going to make it now that since Emu's captain, since territory crew is in play for 3 turns. So for this stage and stage 3, all specials launched that are restricted to type or class will now benefit the entire crew. So just keep that in mind. And also, since it's territory crew, we're going to get a 1.5 attack buff and damage reduction. And we're going to be launching it at launch status 0. So what that's going to do is go ahead and remove 10 turns of special bind. And he's going to give us a chain boundary for 3 turns. So we'll carry that into the next stage of 3.5 minimum to 50, with a maximum of being 5 to 50, just depending on like how you do your action special. So after doing Emu, we're going to go ahead and then use Stussy. So by using Stussy's special, what it's going to do is it's going to completely remove the barrier, because it removes barriers by 5 turns. It's only a 2-turn barrier. And she's also going to go ahead and boost damage dealt to delayed enemies by 2.5 for 3 turns. Now, since there are, our team is predominantly driven, there are 5 driven characters on here, and we have a driven captain, she's going to go ahead and inflict delay through immunity, so we'll get that benefit of that conditional buff. And following that, since there are 5 or more driven, she'll extend the chain boundary, which doesn't really like matter for like the greater things of it, because like we already have it carried into the next stage anyway. But she's going to apply a 20% damage reduction to the enemy. Yes, that does sound like a negative. We're going to do 20% less damage to the enemy, but I don't think we're going to have to worry about it since it's just the mid boss. It's only 20%, and we're going to be dealing the conditional buff from her. We have the chain boundary. We have the territory. So I don't think we're going to have to like worry about that too much. So just don't like feel alarmed about that. And also attached to Emu, we have the Lafayette support, which when a character uses their special, it adds 1.3 type affinity for driven characters. Everyone on our team is driven except Luffy, and everyone but Emu and the friend captain Emu will have type affinity. So Stussy, Sakazuki, and Buggy will get that buff there. And here's where you can have 2 options with how you want to go about this for like damage. If you use the 12th Annie ship, since all the slots will be neutral, I originally had it set up for Uta support, so we would get a driven attack and orb buff. But if our orbs are neutral anyway, the orb buff doesn't really matter. So I changed it to the Atlas support, because Atlas will give int and cerebral characters 1.75 times attack buff. So by using Atlas, we can just get a bigger attack buff than what we would have got from Uta and not have the orb buff. But another option you could do is, since Emu is strength, you could do the Shark Superb ship. So that way you would meet the requirement of having a strength captain, and it would make quick and dex slots matching. So since your slots are changed to strength and quick, some potentially would be quick, and all those would be counted as matching. And if you do it that way, I would probably instead use the Uta support, because it gives driven characters a 1.5 times attack and slot buff. And remember, Emu himself is strength, so you could get matching slots on him with the strength slots anyway. So either way you want to go about it, just know that if you use the Shark Superb ship, you would be losing 3 turns of cooldown. I don't think it would matter, because Emu himself, he's getting 7 turns of cooldown, and he has that great captain ability, 34% if they have a cost of 70 or more. So Buggy's getting the cooldown. Stussy, she's at 14. She's a TM legend, so she gets 10 off. So with sockets and Shark Superb, that would be 14. Sakazuki, how much does he get off? 7. So then the ship would make it 9. The ship would make it 9. He should be good to go, because wait, the ship would make it 9. Sockets would make it... Why does he have these shitty sockets? I just realized. I gotta fix that. Sockets would make it... Sorry, chat. It's like, for me being sick, trying to like figure this out. In addition to like, y'all know I'm like... I have autism and like all that shit. So just bear with me. Sakazuki gets 7 turns off. Sockets make it 9. If you use a Shark Superb, it would make it 11. Emu, when you use his special on stage 2, because we need Sakazuki on stage 3, he would add another 2 turns. So that would be 13, and then like plus the preemptive for the 2 stages, Sakazuki would be good to go. So again, Shark Superb work there. And just double checking with Luffy real quick. He's 15. And he gets 10 turns reduced, so he's good to go. So that's like the options that you can go there. And once I like go through what stage 3 is, I'll repeat like the stage, like clearly here's the breakdown. Again, sorry, and like thank y'all for bearing with me. With like me trying to do this while being sick. But I will make sure like everything's clearly understood. And y'all can leave any questions in the comments, and of course I'll like address them. But once you get to stage 3, now you'll have to deal with the 7 turns of burn, the 10 turns of despair, the 10 turns of bind to top right, middle left, bottom right, block slots for everyone, and the 2-turn barrier for the 1 rainbow orb. So the despair, you just don't have to worry about it because of Emu's captain ability. And remember, we're using double Emu. He completely removes despair on himself. So the captain will also completely remove the bind on himself. But we're going to get rid of the bind anyway. Since it's 10 turns, it goes to 7 with sockets. So we're going to use Sakazuki here. This Sakazuki was a rare recruit for the anniversary. So his special, when you use it, it reduces all enemy barriers by 2 turns. So he's going to go ahead and get rid of that rainbow barrier. And then he's going to go ahead and reduce bind by 6 turns. He boosts crit rate by 30%, which doesn't like is nothing like that. That doesn't matter. It's just fluff. Crit rate's like pointless. If crew has a slot buff, he'll give you an attack buff. But since we don't have one, he's going to give us a slot buff. Remember, with Emu, we're carrying in that 3 turns, or we're carrying in that territory crew. So that means that the slot buff that he's going to add of 2.75 for Driven and Slasher will apply to everyone. So we get a 2.75 orb buff from Sakazuki. We have 5 or more Egghead characters, and this is why I had to change his support. Since we have a quick character on him, we will also get Driven territory added to the field. Because I had the Doflamingo support on him before, that would have added Slasher territory, and we have more Driven characters than we have Slashers. So we have 5 Driven characters versus 2 Slashers, so just more damage. So with the support that we have on Sakazuki, this Zoro support, as long as it's a quick support or a deck support, you're good. You'll get that territory. I just use this Zoro one here because it adds to the chain multiplier. So again, more free damage. So following using Sakazuki, we're then going to go ahead and use Buggy. So Buggy is here to go ahead and let me just note real quick. When we get to the stage when we're inflicted with bind, because y'all are probably wondering where the extra bind is, this Bonnie will trigger. And once you're inflicted with bind and despair from the enemy, reduces it by 1 turn, so there goes the final turn of it. But it also inflicts 1.75 increased damage taken to the enemy. And Rodo is only immune to delay, so we can get that increased damage taken on him. So that's just a perfect support for it. So Buggy is here, literally like just for damage. Since the despair was already removed by like Emu, and he's here to help enable Emu to get access to his EX because that's going to be very important. So Buggy's going to give us territory int. He's going to inflict set target status, so more free damage, and he's going to give us the big attack buff. So with that attack buff, that's going to enable us to get access to Emu's EX, which is very, very, very important. And since we have 5 Egghead art characters, again, a crit buff, which just is nothing. So with Buggy, you're just getting straight damage. The Moria support on him is just to give type affinity for our driven characters on the final stage of 1.5. And with Emu, your friend Captain Emu now, you can go ahead and use him. So you're going to use his EX and his special here. So because we use Buggy, now we have access to his EX because we'll have an attack buff of 8x or more. So we can go ahead and trigger his EX, which is going to change all his block slots to the character's own type. So now we'll have like all the matching slots. He's also going to buff that color affinity that we got from the Moria support. So he'll go ahead and like increase that by another 1.5, and he'll set the special launch status to 1, and everyone will be super type. So with special launch status 1, what we're going to get now is we're going to get, where is it? Right here. The burn reduction of 10 turns. So he's going to go ahead and completely remove all turns of that super burn that we got inflicted with. He's also going to stack on a second attack buff. He's going to lower the one we got from Buggy by 1.0, so he'll drop it to a 7, and then he'll go ahead and stack on another one for us. So super, super, super big damage. If you've been using the 12th Annie Legends since they came out, you know, like, how strong they are and stuff like that. Lastly, we're going to go ahead and use Luffy. So Luffy's just here mainly because he's a point booster. He's a really high point booster. He's actually the highest point booster that I own that fit on this team because I have none of the other Elbaf legends. And the TM Vegapunk from last month and Rodo just didn't really like do anything. Like this Luffy at a minimum gives us a little bit more damage because he can add on the tap timing buff bonus and the attack bonus for hitting 4 perfects. So, and he allows us to get that Bonnie support on there to get that increased damage taken. But we don't need, like, his utility doesn't affect this fight. It will come into play in the next one. So just to break down again, like how this is going to go, when you get to stage 2, you're going to use your Emu, and then you're going to use Stussy. That will go ahead and trigger the Lafayette support, so you can get color affinity, depending on your ship and support combination that you're using for Stussy. Like I said, either the 12th Annie ship with the Atlas support on her, you'll get the attack buff. If you're using Shark Superb with the Uta support, you'll get the attack and orb buff. So just keep that in mind. So there's your attack, orb, color affinity. You get your chain boundary and your territory crew that you're going to carry both into the next stage. Stussy's going to give you a delay conditional buff. Like I said, you're not going to have to worry about the 20% damage that she gives to the enemy because, the 20% rainbow shield she gives the enemy because we're just going to like do so much damage. It's not going to be an issue, guys. And she's going to remove the barrier, and Emu removes the special bind. Once you get into stage 3, you're going to go ahead and use Sakazuki to get rid of the barrier and the barrier, the bind, give you a slot buff, give you territory driven, and with his support, you're going to get the chain multiplicative buff, or chain additive buff. Sorry, not chain multiplicative. That'd be too good. Then you're going to use Buggy to get your attack buff, set target status, territory int, The Moria support will give color affinity. You'll use your friend Captain Emu's EX to get a full board matching, super type to everyone, change him to launch status 1, and he'll multiply the color affinity you got from Moria's support. Using him in launch status 1, you're going to get a second attack buff, and he's going to go ahead and remove all turns of the super burn. And then lastly, you'll use Luffy to get the tap timing buff, the attack buff for when you hit 4 perfects, and with the Bonnie support, you'll do increased damage taken of 1.75 to the enemy, and you'll remove that final turn of bind. So again, if you have any questions or anybody else or any like recommendations for other supports or anything like that suggested that you would like, feel free to let me know. The Bonnie support is the only one that's necessary, and it's only necessary in terms of you need someone to remove that final turn of bind. It doesn't have to be Bonnie. Bonnie just happens to also give increased damage taken, so she's perfect for it. So just keep that in mind. And Sakazuki only requires a quick or dex character to get driven territory. So just keep that in mind as well. So going into the next fight versus Iscat. Again, new characters recommended, blah, blah, blah. So strength, quick, and int, they're going to get the cooldown. So then following that, there's one last thing I need to mention about that fight. Because some people might not know this because they were so focused on the 12th Annie Legends. Tap with Sakazuki last because he has the good final tap. He has the quote unquote best type of final tap you can have where it's just additional damage. So as you see here, adds 0.3 times, so 30% of damage dealt by normal attacks of other characters this turn on top of final damage. So make sure you tap with Sakazuki last, just to get free 30% extra damage. And as I said, it's only at the final battle. So yeah, just make sure you use hit with him last. So that being said, going into this fight here. So for stage 2, the enemy has 99 turns of full immunity. Your middle right and bottom right characters are blown away for 4 turns. So that does carry into stage 3. So obviously that is a big issue. And that does make team building a little bit tricky. But there are some options that you can like run and stuff here. And I'll explain that for some key pieces you can put in there. There's also 2 turns of damage nullification, and all your slots are set to paralysis slots. Again, unless you have like Wano or Rainbow and somehow carried them into it. After you defeat the enemy, they do a death hit of 80,000. Once you get to battle 3, the enemy's going to be weak to striker class. Again, 99 turns full immunity. So they're going to have 7 turn special bind to everyone, 10 turn recovery bind, and remember you took the death hit on the prior stage, so they're trying to keep you from healing up because there's another death hit at the end of this one. They're for 2 turns they're going to take less damage from Psi, Int, Wano, Recovery, and Tandem slots by 80%, which of course is nasty. Top and middle row characters get 2 turns of special reverse. All slots are going to be changed to empty, block, or unfavorable. And again, super burn this time for 10 turns instead of 7. And there's going to be, if you change your slots, there's going to be, the enemy's going to get attack up, but also they're going to change your slots to super block slots. Unless you have like Wano or Rainbow, since they can't be manipulated, or Simla slots also. And they're going to do a death hit of 120,000. So with that in mind, going into stage 2, obviously the first thing you need to be worried about is your middle right and bottom right characters being blown away. So to circumnavigate this, we're using this Sentamaru and Kashi because they both have the crewmate ability of character cannot be blown away. So keep that in mind. If you have this character, now I just want to highlight some other characters that can't be blown away as a crewmate if you have them, because that's where I was saying there was some options you could go with. This Oimo, he also, I'll get right there at the top because it's not letting me like click on him for whatever reason here. This Oimo, he cannot be blown away. The Dory and Bragi that have like Usopp and Luffy with them, they can't be blown away. Obviously, the one with Luffy is a little tricky to fit on the team, but just keep that in mind. And where is the last one I'm looking for here? There's one that I didn't have that I wish I did. This one right here. If you have this Eva and Kuma, they can't be blown away, and they're actually like really good. They're probably the best unit to take for it if you have them. And just to explain what they do to bring to the table, because again, they are important. Like if you have Eva and Kuma, you should probably run them instead of Sentamaru. Let me like find them here on the TM planner while I'm looking at it. Here they are. So Eva and Kuma with their special, they go ahead and reduce damage by 80%, which obviously helps with the death hit. And they also that's really all they do. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, they just give you, because the only thing you can make a benefit of is they give you that to help with the death hit. But I mean, we can handle that with the support that we have. So maybe even Kuma weren't as good as I thought, because they give you like a conditional buff, but they don't proc the condition, and we don't have anybody that we're using on this stage that does do delay. So like they're actually not as good for it as I thought they were. But that being said, Luffy handles everything here. So by using Luffy with this Brook support, which if you're a long time OPTC player, you know this Brook support attached to any Straw Hat, 60% damage reduction when you use the special. So that'll help with a lot of the death hit. But this Luffy, he handles everything here. Since your slots were changed to paralysis and he removes paralysis with his special, you'll go ahead and get a full board of matching slots. And he removes 2 turns of damage nullification. So those will be removed. Like I said earlier, he gives you tap timing bonus, and he also gives you an attack buff when you hit 4 perfects. Now, you will see down here, it does say if you have 5 Elbath Arc Straw Hat Giant characters, you can get an 80% damage reduction and a color affinity. But with the team that we have built, we don't have those tags fulfilled. So just keep that in mind. If you pulled any of the new characters, that's how Luffy's intended is you wouldn't need that Brook support because you would get it from his special. So keep that in mind if you were lucky enough to get any of the TM characters, if you like attempted to pull for them. But after using Luffy, we're going to go ahead and use Sentamaru. So like I said, Sentamaru's here to prevent the just being like blown away, but also he's going to go ahead and like add in some just free damage for you. So what he's going to do is he'll change all slots to int. So if you want to use Sentamaru before Luffy, I mean, you could, more power to you. So you have a full board matching from Luffy. Because I don't know, does he make all like in slots matching? Yeah, maybe use Sentamaru before Luffy. Um, just so like you can get the full board of slots from Luffy. So with Sentamaru, though, what he's going to do is he will go ahead and give you if you have a slot buff. So you won't have a slot buff yet, but he'll give you a slot buff of 2.75. So he's giving you a slot buff of 2.75 for, who was it for? Int, Powerhouse, and Cerebral. And then by using his special, it's going to trigger the Atlas support, which will give Int and Cerebral an attack buff of 1.75. So primarily focusing damage through Buggy, Luffy, and Sentomaru, obviously, since they have type advantage. And they would then also get the attack and orb buff. So that being said, we're going to go into the third stage. So going into the third stage, what you want to do is first use your Emu Captain. And by using him, that's going to go ahead and remove the special bind. Then after you use him, it's important to note, Sentomaru and Luffy are in the middle row because top and middle get the 2 turns of special reverse. So both Emu Captains are immune to special reverse, so you don't have to worry about that. They're immune to special bind, so you will still be able to launch his special. And it doesn't matter if Sentomaru and Luffy get special reverse because we use their specials on the prior turn. But you're going to use your Emu to remove the special bind from everyone else. The Garling support, it's not needed. I just put on here for extra damage if you have it. My Garling's level 150, so you see it adds 15% of base stats. It's like the best support I can throw on Emu statistically. And also when you use his special, if you have a cost of 70 or more, you get a chain multiplicative buff of 1.25, which goes great with, since we're using Emu, like this Emu, just his regular one at status launch 0, we're getting territory crew, the special binds get removed, and we're getting that chain boundary. So now we have chain boundary and chain multiplicative. So, and it's important to note he does remove 1 turn of enemies' beneficial effects. So that's important to note because that slot attack down status will go down to 1 turn off of using this Emu. So just keep that in mind. Then we're going to go ahead and use Buggy. So again, Buggy's here just for damage and to enable us to get access to Emu's EX. So he's going to once again give us the territory int. He's going to give us the set target status, and he's going to give us the big attack buff. So following Buggy, we can go ahead and use Kashi. Again, Kashi is here in this specific spot because he has the can't be blown away. And by using his special, remember Buggy gave us an attack buff, he's going to go ahead and give us a orb buff of 2.5 for 1 turn. So now we have attack and orb buff with the Moria support on Buggy. Once again, we're going to get color affinity for our driven characters. So it'll only matter for Buggy, but hey, it is what it is. Just obviously say Buggy's tap for like last to maximize the damage. Unless you want to make use of Emu's final tap, it's up to you. Use Buggy the tap before that. Either way, I'll let y'all decide on how you want to handle that. Lastly, you're going to use the friend captain Emu's EX, and then his special. So the EX, again, we're going to get all the super types. All the block slots that we were given are now going to be matching. He's going to give us we got given empty, block, and unfavorable. So all of those will be changed to matching. We're going to get 80% damage reduction, which is important because remember there is the bigger death hit on this stage. So that helps a lot getting that from Emu. And since we're using his special, it's going to remove 1 turn of beneficial effects. That'll remove that second slot attack down turn that the enemy had. So now our Psy, Int, Wano, Recovery Tandem, which of course the only ones here that matter for us will be Int, will now do their full damage, which is perfect. And then since we're now at Special Launch 1, we'll get the 2 stacking attack buffs. and he's going to go ahead and remove the 10 turns of that super burn again. And then from there, we can easily kill. The health, there shouldn't be any problems with the health because Emu here, you see, and all these characters are boosted, so we're going to have like boosted stats. And you see here, Emu is a rainbow captain, and he boosts crew's HP by 1.5, and you're having 2 Emus, so there should be no issue like with the health and stuff like that. Additionally, how much does the ship give you? 1.2 from the ship, so yeah, you should be like off to the races, like not having to like worry about that. I'll check to see, like, you could again run Shark Superb if you want to. It's 1.2 HP also, so again, it's up to you. Where was 12th Ancient Ship? Is right here. But yeah, so then just to recap, like very quickly, now that we explained everything on that stage, how like you would want to do it again. On stage 2, it would be Luffy. Or, well, on stage 2 would be Sentamaru first, so you don't like mess up your slots, to get the attack and ore buff with the combination of the Atlas support. And then by launching Luffy, you'll get the tap time buff, the attack buff. After hitting 4 perfects, he'll go ahead and make all your slots matching. Since he removes paralysis, the paralysis slots will be changed to matching. And he'll remove the 2 turns of damage nullification. The Brook support will help you survive the death hit. Going into the final stage, you'll use your Emu to go ahead and remove the special bind on the crew. If you have the Garling support, you'll also get chain multiplicative buff in addition to your chain boundary. And he'll take away one of the turns of the slot attack down buff, or debuff that the enemy has. Buggy will then go ahead and give you the attack buff, set target status, color affinity with his special, and another territory, which is territory int. And it's important to note that all the territories, remember, they also give you damage reduction too, so that'll help you with tanking like the death hit and stuff like that. You can go ahead and then use Kashi. Kashi will give you an orb buff. And again, Kashi and Sentamaru are in those spots because they can't be blown away. And then lastly, you'll use the Friend Captain Emu's EX to get a full board of matching slots, super type for everyone, and it'll allow him to launch the second part of his special. So then you launch his special, it'll remove the final turn of the slot attack down. So now your int slots will do their full intended damage. And you'll also get 2 stacking attack buffs. And he'll remove the 10 turns of super burn. That's what it was. So again, if you guys have any questions about how these teams will like run and anything like that, please feel free to let me know. I tried to like make my explanations as clear as I could, and like I said, going over them twice like that, just because of me like having the flu and stuff like that. And y'all know, if y'all have ever had the flu, pretty much 99% of people have had the flu once in their life. You know, you get like body aches, headaches, like the whole 9 yards. You know, like when you're sick in general, it's really hard to like focus and stuff like that. So if anything wasn't clear, please feel free to comment and let me know if y'all have any questions or concerns or anything like that, and I will gladly like always like answer to the best of my abilities with my Treasure Cruise knowledge to try and help y'all theory craft and come up with any replacements or anything like that. Again, if you don't have Emu and Buggy both, these might not be the best teams for you. I can say that. Because I did say, like, Buggy is kind of replaceable, but you would still need a way to trigger Emu's EX. And the easiest way to do that other than Buggy would be with 12th Anniversary Luffy, which you can see where that would then become a problem with the Iscat team specifically. The other team, not so much. You could replace that Luffy there. But he carries so much weight in stage 2 of the Iscat fight. So just keep that in mind, guys. But again, I'll answer any questions you guys have and do the best I can to try and help y'all out. Hopefully, like y'all don't have any problems in the treasure map, get through it easier. And if you do any pulls for any of the new treasure map characters, hopefully like they'll help you out. Like, well, they should. The content was built for it. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. All I gotta say other than that, guys, is hope y'all have a good rest of your night. And I don't know if I'll stream tomorrow. It depends on how I feel, since I still feel really sick right now. But I'm hoping by Wednesday I'll definitely be feeling better, and we'll try. The plan is to still, like always, do a treasure map stream Wednesday. So I hope to see y'all then. I just don't know if it'll be like our normal time, like around like lunchtime, or if it'll be a little later in the day, depending on how I'm feeling, like getting through this. But I hope to see y'all at the treasure map stream, and I'll keep y'all updated on social media with like when my next stream will be in general in regards to Monster Hunter Rise or SAO if we play it before we get to Wednesday stream. But thanks again, everybody. Hope you all have a good rest of your night, and I'll catch y'all later.